Okay, so I know us here, we all like superhero movies, Marvel movies. We've watched them in the past. But my question today is are Marvel and superhero movies in general, are they losing their steam? Are they kind of fading out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and why do you think that is?
I don't think people want to go through these this after Endgame. I don't feel like people are as attached or connected to the actors or even the characters. Like they're not attached to the new stuff like they were the original 6.
Yeah. Like the first 22 MCU movies.
Yeah.
Were
First 22.
They were it was something like that. Yeah, it's a ridiculous amount. It's something crazy, but like, yeah, remember the hype for all those, like everyone was so excited about those. Like there was like must see opening night, have to go, like, but then ever since Endgame, now Endgame was a cinematic masterpiece. Not very much will ever top that. Even in Infinity War was before that, that was great. It's hard to. How do you expect them to top that?
And they took all the biggest heroes, and then they used them already. So it's like they can only follow that up with the B tier.
The B level superheroes. Yeah, that's a good point.
I think maybe just might have reached like a mark of saturation where the demand might only be some level. And if you put in like 1, then that level can take the whole thing. But if you put out like 4, then they're all 4th. It's like if you put 10 restaurants side by side, not everyone is full every time.
Yeah.
There's only 20 people that can eat dinner and go out to eat every night.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. And like The Rock, like The Rock's biggest movie star on the planet, he can turn almost anything into $1 billion. But with Black Adam, now I've seen Black Adam. I liked it.
Like it.
I thought it was pretty good. Was it the best superhero movie? No, but I thought it was entertaining. I thought it would have done better in the box office. I thought it would have been better because The Rock was in it, but even that, like that one struggled. So
there wasn't enough of The Rock being The Rock.
Yeah. So I mean, like, man, if he can't even turn us, because superhero movies are supposed to do great by themselves. You add The Rock to it, your expectations are supposed to be like through the roof.
On paper, it looks like it would work.
Yeah, it just sounds like a great idea, but it didn't. It was actually it was a flop. So I think that just tells you that superhero movies right now have kind of stalled. They're kind of running stale.
Do you think that just them not having competition is a part of it? Because like, who's after Marvel?
Yeah,
there's no one really pushing much at all.
There's DC, but they've had their problems. Most of their movies are not that good.
Aren't they restarting the DC universe like a 3rd time now?
Mm-hmm. With James Gunn, James Gunn, who directed the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, is supposed to completely take over, and he's supposed to be like the new Zack Snyder, where he oversees every DC project and stuff. But like even he's had his issues because they've had to get in a new. They need a new Superman. They don't know what they're going to do with the Batman movie, like with Batman at all, because there's the Robert Pattinson Batman, which is not connected to the DCEU Batman, and then you got the Flash that's coming out this summer, which is supposed to have Ben Affleck in it for a little bit, and Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
So where's the continuity at? Like nobody really knows. It's just a huge mess.
I think a lot of like movies and styles of movies, just like music and lots of stuff too. There's ebbs and flows and there's phases of. 30 years ago, you wouldn't think like every movie would be a big superhero movie.
Yeah.
Like, no way. No one's going to go see that.
Yeah.
And I think there was kind of like a crest. I don't think it's gone by any means, but it's not what it was like 5 or 10 years ago. Just like the demand and the appeal of them. Because there's like 6 a month that come out now. And there's so many.
Is it actually like, are we super oversaturated with Marvel stuff? Because I personally think we are. Like, after Endgame and stuff, when they took the break and then it came out, it was like TV shows were now with, like, if you wanted to follow along with the MCU, you had to watch TV shows. Yeah. And not just one, it's like 3 of them.
Yeah. And the thing is, a lot of those are actually good if you watch them. Like, they'll get you hooked if you watch them. The issue is people are not even watching them.
You gotta be committed.
People are not, they don't want to commit. Like, they don't want to.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked the MCU. I went and saw pretty much all of them like opening weekend.
Yeah.
And after Endgame, I just lost all interest. I was like, what am I supposed to do with the next stuff? It's like I just saw where it should have ended.
Yeah.
For the just the cinematic universe. But
Should have taken more time off. I feel like.
Yeah.
I think a lot of I mean the saturation maybe, but I think a lot of it is just like a season. You were saying something the other day about there was like these 5 or 10 year spans in movies where like it was like Fight Club where everything is like this big turn at the last second where it's like an imaginary person. It's all in somebody's head. And it was like every movie had that for like 5 years.
Yep.
And then people they had its time and then then the next thing comes in.
Yeah.
I just think it's a little bit of or a lot of it of
I
that.
can see that.
that Marvel.
I was gonna say, like, when Marvel first started going, it was like Transformers did too. It was like the whole tech thing, like, ooh, the new gadgets and everything in movies were cool.
Yeah.
And then now we're all kind of just like, all right, what else are you gonna do?
You're kind of used to it.
You don't even see people wear like superhero shirts anymore. Like it was just about 5-6 years ago. You'd go to the gym and just about almost everyone had a Superman shirt on, Batman, Iron Man. You see in public, you see these buff dudes and these really tight Green Lantern shirts. You don't even see that anymore. Like superheroes are just not in right now. Like they had their time and they just kind of faded out. And I think like James Gunn, he doesn't believe that superhero movies are necessarily people are getting bored of them. He thinks that people are bored of the type of movies that are being made with them.
It's like stale.
They're just stale. No one's really impressed with PG-13 action. That it's all kind of like the same thing.
They're all 90% comedy, 10%.
Yeah.
They're like 80% comedy, 20% action.
I was like, the whole movie from the start. It's like you meet the character, you meet the bad guy, they give you some character development, and then they beat the bad guy.
But after they almost lose, though.
Yeah. But like in Infinity War, the Hulk got beat up in the first 5 minutes, and you've never seen that in 2 decades of having the Hulk. So it's just like,
that movie.
That movie. Yeah, see, and those movies are masterpieces, and those will go down as one of the best superhero movies of all time, if not best blockbuster movies.
Yeah, it's like how do we go from watching the Black Panther, the new Spider-Man, Infinity War, and the Endgame, and then 6 months later we're watching TV shows about I don't even remember what it is now. It's like we saw 6 hours of continuous action, and then it would turn into it was like we climaxed, and then after it was just kind of like
yeah. It's not as exciting anymore. People have it's kind of turned into the same thing, just told differently, over and over and over again. Yes. I do think that they need to take a break, but also I think they need some. And I know I'm saying this like I'm a writer myself. I know making something that everybody likes is probably the hardest thing to do in the world. But I mean,
and that can do well in China, so they can make all the money back.
Yeah, I just think
that's the truth.
Yeah,
if you can't play well in China, you can't invest like $200 million to make a movie.
Yeah. That's why I think that's why they throw out, they always they say, hey, we're making this, it's coming out in 5 years. I feel like they're doing that just to get the feel. You know what I'm saying? Like they just announced the live action Moana movie or whatever that's not due out until 2026. I feel like they announced it so early just to kind of gauge the reaction. Because if there's no one's reacting to it, no one cares. I'm probably like, okay, maybe that budget's going to go down a couple million or something. Like, I feel
how much to invest into it?
Yeah, I think that's exactly why they do that. But I don't know. Yeah, I just think action. I think superhero movies, just like any other. I think people are just kind of bored of it. I think they kind of just need to go away for a little bit, come back, and then also you need to bring back your popular superheroes. That's what people want to see. Like they want to see your Batmans and Hulks and Iron Mans and Captain Americas. When you kill them off or get rid of them or retire them or do whatever, people
there's the attachment.
Yeah, it's out the window. Like it's. So I don't know. I think they'll be back eventually because
take like 15 years off. Take 20 years off.
Yeah, I think they'll be back. But right now, I just don't think they're. I don't think.
Could it be just movies too, though?
I don't know. We'll see. I feel like there has been a transition over to Netflix. like that long-term storytelling,
Yeah.
where it's like a slow burn. I think people really like that instead of like that
Yeah.
instant 2 hour, But that's just me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they did lose their steam.
Yeah.
That's the season.
Are we all in agreement?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there we have it.